to Question Quote Media. Please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. Just reporting on the case of Jaden Moodie, the 14-year-old minor that was murdered in a savage frenzy attack in East London. Now, Jaden Moodie was knocked off a moped and repeatedly stabbed by a rival gang member, Ayub Majoleen, in Bickley Road, Leighton, in January. The drug dealer Ayub DNA was found on a murder weapon. He was found guilty of the murder on the 11th of December 2019. Now, Ayub, who was 19 at the time, of Wembley, was sentenced at the Old Bailey to life with a minimum term of 21 years. Now, Jaden's family left court. His father, Julian, said he was happy with the sentencing and also added that British justice has been done. Ayub was one of 5 men linked to the stabbing who drove around East London in a stolen Mercedes looking for members of a rival gang to attack on the night of the 8th of January, the court heard. Now, the group linked to drug gangs, the Marley Boys, had covered their faces, and 2 of them, including Ayub, wore yellow rubber gloves to avoid being identified. The killing was caught on CCTV, which was shown at the trial. Now, you can see the clip as well in regards to that. Once the group spotted Jaden, he was knocked off his moped by the car. Gang members then got out of the car and stabbed him while he lay on the ground. Jaden, who was dealing drugs from rival gangs, the Booming crew, suffered 9 stab wounds and bled to death in the road as the attackers ran back to the car and sped off the court heard. Ayub was then caught on camera buying cigarettes in Leighton around 10 minutes after the murder. Now, in the clip you can see he's buying stuff from the shop. Absolutely looks calm, getting his change. It looks like nothing had happened, a couple of minutes before. Now, there were emotional scenes inside the courtroom in the Old Bailey as the family of Jaden listened to the prosecutor, Oliver Glasgow QC, reading out the victim impact statements they had written in Jaden's murder. His mother, Jada, had described how he'd wanted to become a mechanic, and as he was with bikes and cars, and how he'd also like to dress smartly, leading to a plan to set up his own brand, calling Young Productions. Now, she went on to say, "How do I live without him since this terrible barbaric attack? He really was a remarkable human being," she wrote. At this tender age, he showed empathy for humanity. Jaden's sisters also described their heartbreak and how they were now scarred to go on out and nightmares about what happened. Now, it's really sad. You can see that the family really touched. They did have quite a few interviews and did say a lot of things after that as well. Now, for Ayub, it was said that he had no childhood at all and was particularly traumatized by the murder of his father, the court heard. 3 years after his father's death, that's Ayub, the killer, he was identified by the NCA, National Crime Agency, as a victim of modern-day slavery. His lawyer told the court he had significant disruption by experiences of trauma and exposure to certain ideologies that no one of any age should be exposed to. Now, given evidence in the trial, Ayub said he had turned to county line drug dealing to survive, because his mum and dad split up and his dad passed away. Now, this case, yes, is of last year. Recently, Ayub has has asked for his sentence to be reduced, and unfortunately, the judge said no. You knew what you were doing, and we're not reducing that term at all. And this goes to show you that, at the time of this incident, and just for those younger children out there, or not children, young adults out there, you don't think about the consequences. However, when you are, in prison and when you're doing the time, you need to reflect. And Ayub has now had time to reflect on what he did, his involvement in the murder. And now he can't cope, and he wants to get this time reduced because he wants to enjoy life. However, he's not coming out for a long time. Now, if you could just pay respects to Jaden's family, the Moodie family. Peace.